It was 3 a.m., that strange hour when the city feels half asleep and half dangerous. The streets of the ghetto were unusually quiet. Streetlights flickered like they were tired too, and every shadow felt suspicious. At that hour, your mind plays tricks on you, and your instincts stay on high alert. The narrator was driving slowly, already thinking about how nothing good usually happens outside at 3 a.m. Then something unbelievable appeared in the headlights, a baby sitting alone on a street corner. No parents. No stroller. Just a tiny child wrapped in a thin blanket. The car stopped instantly. Confusion and fear hit at the same time. The narrator's first thought wasn't kindness, it was survival. In the ghetto, unexpected situations can be dangerous. The mind started racing. Is this a setup? Is someone hiding? Why is a baby here at this hour? For a moment, fear almost won. But then the baby cried. That sound cut through every excuse and every warning voice. At that moment, the narrator realized that no matter where you are or how dangerous it feels, a baby is still a baby. Leaving the child there wasn't an option. Humanity stepped in where fear tried to take control. As the narrator carefully stepped out, porch lights suddenly turned on. A woman ran out screaming the baby's name, panicked and crying. The tension disappeared instantly. She explained that she had fallen asleep, and the baby had somehow crawled outside. What felt like a nightmare turned into a moment of relief and understanding. Driving away, the narrator reflected on the night. The ghetto isn't just crime and fear, it's people, mistakes, exhaustion, and survival. At 3 a.m., things can look terrifying, but sometimes it's just life happening in the hardest places. Opens with the narrator cruising slowly through the dimly lit streets, heart racing, eyes scanning every shadow. It's that eerie time of night when everything feels slightly off, and even the familiar corners look threatening. As the car rounds a bend, the headlights catch something that stops him dead in his tracks, a tiny baby sitting alone on the sidewalk, bundled in a thin blanket, completely unaccompanied. At first, the mind refuses to believe it. In a place known for crime and late-night danger, a lone baby seems impossible. The narrator slams on the brakes, the tires screeching, and stares, frozen between fear and disbelief. The baby doesn't move much, just rocks slightly, making tiny, soft noises. The sheer vulnerability of the child contrasts sharply with the harsh, unforgiving surroundings, the cracked pavement, flickering streetlights, and empty buildings. Fear immediately kicks in. Thoughts flood the narrator's mind. Is this a trap? Could someone be hiding nearby? Am I walking into danger? Every survival instinct screams to lock the doors and keep driving. Yet, something else, something deeper, stirs, a surge of concern and responsibility. No matter the risks, a baby alone at 3 a.m. is a situation that demands action. The scene captures the tension perfectly, a mix of disbelief, fear, and moral compulsion. The narrator stands on the edge of panic but also empathy, torn between the natural urge to protect oneself and the undeniable need to protect the helpless child. The scene ends with the narrator leaning forward, eyes fixed on the baby, the suspense building. What will happen next? It's a moment where reality feels surreal, highlighting both the dangers of the ghetto at night and the sudden, shocking presence of innocence in the most unexpected place. Begins immediately after the narrator spots the baby on the corner. The initial shock hasn't worn off. The baby sits there quietly, wrapped in a thin blanket, rocking slightly and letting out tiny, vulnerable cries. Every survival instinct in the narrator screams, "This is dangerous. Don't get out. Keep driving." The street is empty, dark, and unpredictable. In the ghetto at 3 a.m., nothing good happens alone on a street like this. The fear is almost paralyzing. Yet, something stronger than fear begins to take hold. That soft cry pierces the cold night, cutting through the mental checklist of, stay safe, stay alert. The narrator realizes, a baby alone in the dark is defenseless. No street, no crime, no danger excuses leaving this child behind. For a moment, the world narrows down to one thought: help the baby, no matter what. Humanity clashes with instinct. The tension between self-preservation and moral responsibility creates a heavy weight in the chest. The narrator slowly steps out of the car, trying to appear calm but ready for anything. Every shadow, every flicker of light, feels like it could hide trouble. Each careful step forward is a battle between fear and conscience. The baby cries again, a tiny, helpless sound, and it's impossible not to respond. The narrator reaches the corner, heart pounding, fully aware of the risk, yet unwilling to let the child stay there alone. In this scene, the stakes are emotional rather than violent. The suspense comes from the internal struggle, the human instinct to survive versus the human instinct to protect. This is the turning point where empathy overpowers fear, and the narrator's actions demonstrate that sometimes, courage is simply choosing to do the right thing, even when it feels dangerous. The scene ends with the narrator crouching near the baby, ready to intervene, tension still high but morality winning. As the narrator crouches near the baby, fully alert and ready for anything, the tension is at its peak. Every creak of a door, every flicker of a streetlight feels like a possible threat. Suddenly, lights turn on in nearby houses, and a woman bursts out of one doorway, calling out frantically. She's panting, terrified, and her eyes are fixed on the corner where the baby sits. Relief and panic mix in her voice as she screams the baby's name. The narrator freezes for a moment, unsure whether this is a rescue or another dangerous scenario. But the woman scoops up the child immediately, holding them close with tears streaming down her face. She explains between sobs that she had fallen asleep, exhausted from the day, and the baby somehow crawled outside unnoticed. What felt like a potential tragedy a moment ago dissolves into a wave of relief, gratitude, and even a bit of humor at the absurdity of the situation. The twist turns the fear and suspense upside down. The streets that seemed full of danger were just a stage for human error. The narrator experiences a roller coaster of emotions, tension, fear, relief, and astonishment all in rapid succession. The baby is safe, and the narrator realizes that sometimes, what seems like danger is just life happening unpredictably in the ghetto. Driving away from the scene, the narrator reflects on the events of the night. At 3 a.m., the ghetto had seemed silent, eerie, and dangerous, but it was also full of life, mistakes, and human vulnerability. The moment had been terrifying, yet it also reminded him of something deeper. Empathy and compassion often require taking risks, even when fear wants you to run away. The baby's cries and the mother's frantic relief left a lasting impression. Life in the ghetto is chaotic and unpredictable, but it's also full of ordinary humanity, people trying, failing, and sometimes needing help. The narrator realizes that fear is a natural response, but it doesn't have to dictate actions. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear, it means acting despite it. By the time the car disappears into the night, the lesson is clear: even in the darkest, most dangerous-seeming places, small acts of care can make the biggest difference. Life is messy, scary, and unpredictable, but moments like this reveal the humanity that persists, even in the dead of night.